Welcome to Lighting for Profits with Ryan Lee, your number one source for all things landscape lighting. From lighting design, install, sales, and marketing, we discuss everything you need to know to start and grow a successful landscape lighting business.
Welcome to Lighting for Profits here on Turfs Up Radio. I'm your host, Ryan Lee. I am so excited to be here, and I'm so excited you are here joining me live. And I'm excited if you're watching on the replay. I'm just grateful for your support, guys. Oh, man, I'm excited. We're going to have a sweet show today. If you guys are looking to start or grow your landscape lighting business, then you're definitely in the right place. We're going to talk about installation, sales, marketing, pricing, design. We're going to try to cover it all. And I'm really excited, guys. We've got a really cool guest, Chris Apfelstadt with Light Up Columbus. And you're really going to like him. Chris is a cool guy. Really good guy, really smart, and making all the right moves in business. So I'm excited to pick his brain. He's got an extensive Christmas light background, and a lot of people call it holiday lighting, but I just so used to calling it Christmas lights. But yeah, holiday lighting background, and he's decided to jump into the landscape lighting world in business. So we're going to talk to him about that and see how things are going for him, and see what he'd recommend you do in your business if you want to do that, and maybe ask him some recommendations that he would say not to do. Right. So I'm super excited to have him on. He's going to be joining us in just a few minutes. And I guess speaking of Christmas lights, I want to remind you guys, I'm going to actually be a speaker at the Holiday Bright Lights Holiday Kickoff event next month in Tampa, July 29th, 30th, 31st. So I'm going to be down there. If you guys want to get your tickets, go to holidaybrightlights.com and do it now. If you've already waited this long, then don't wait any longer, because that's only like 5 weeks away. And when you start looking at flights and hotels and everything else, you need to get it. They do have some discounted blocks available for the room. And I know they booked up, and then they opened up more. So I'm not even sure the current status, but go and get your tickets now. And if you do, make sure you come say hi. I want to meet you guys in person. And really just want to thank you guys for your support. You know, this Lighting for Profits thing could not be a thing if it wasn't for you. So I'm grateful for your guys' support, and for whether you're listening live on Turfs Up Radio, whether you're downloading the podcast later, whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. I appreciate it. And by the way, this is meant to be interactive. So if you guys are on Facebook, on YouTube, if you guys have questions, comments, if you have anything you want to ask me or our guest, Chris Apfelstadt, today, then hook us up. Make sure you post that in the comments, and let us know if you're here. So let us know when you're here, so we can have that interactive dialogue. And the other day, before we have Chris on, I want to talk about something. I did a video on YouTube. I released this on YouTube about speed and momentum in business. And there's a lot of things that I feel are important when it comes to business, and my message is always one of trying to remove yourself from the business and going from operator to owner, profitability, and those types of things. But speed and momentum, they just keep coming back, keep hitting me with different examples and things that I see in life. Two things happened. One, I went to Lagoon, which is the local amusement park here in Utah. And growing up, we would go to Lagoon, and it was nothing compared to the other, like you go to Six Flags or whatever, and it was like, oh man, that Six Flags is way better. But I got to give it to Lagoon. They've added some really cool rides that make it a really fun place. And so we took the kids there and went as a family. And I see the roller coaster. What happens is it pulls you up to the top, right? And then when you get to that top, then momentum and speed are what gets you through the loops and what gets you through the next hills and stuff like that, right? Well, interestingly enough, our businesses are like that as well. And unfortunately, in business, you don't have a chain or a crank that's going to pull you to the top. Like you've got to kind of climb that mountain yourself, right? And it gets hard. It's difficult. It's not always easy. I listen, I got a marketing degree. I have an MBA. You would think that I'd be prepared to go and do this stuff. But even with that, I felt totally not ready, not prepared. I feel like I didn't know what I was doing. I felt lost, right? And unfortunately, what happens in business, and I think this is one of the main reasons why most businesses don't make it to year 2, make it to year 5, especially year 10, right? Is because instead of going all the way up to the top of that hill, business owners, they shortcut it and they make it up, halfway, 75%. Like, man, I could just see if I just go, I can shortcut this. And instead of going all the way up, I can just do this little trail around the side of the mountain here. And then I can just go down. Right. And that makes sense in a lot of cases, And so people will do that. Business owners do that. And then what happens is they get fooled, right? Because if you don't go all the way to the top of that hill, what's going to happen? They go and now they're not all the way up, and then they'll go down that hill and they'll go up to that first hill or that first loop, and they don't make it all the way up. They don't make it all the way around that first loop, and it's all because they didn't have speed, they didn't have momentum because they shortcutted themselves, right? What's up, Mr. Russell Owens? It's funny. The guys at the station, they found out that I had a hard time saying my name. I introduced myself as Ryan, and people are like, Brian? And I'm like, yeah, like I said, Ryan. And they're like, Brian? And so I don't know. I've never been, I don't know. I have not figured out over these many, many years. I've got gray hair now, and I still haven't figured out how to say my name properly. So I think I might just change my name to Brian. And then, of course, I met my neighbor. His name's Brian. And he says, no, the same thing happens to me. People think I say Ryan. So I think the trick is just to say the wrong name. So it's official. I think I'm going by Brian Lee now. So the other experience that happened, we're talking speed and momentum in business. Obviously, you got the roller coaster example, right? And has that ever happened to you guys? Have you ever felt like, man, I didn't make it all the way to the top. I didn't have enough momentum. I see these other businesses succeeding. How are they doing this? How are they getting it to the next level? That guy, he doesn't even look like he's that smart. Like, how did he hire 20 employees? Like, how did he do this, right? I'm telling you, these are the secrets right here. They've got speed. They got momentum. Last year, the other story I want to tell you, last year I got into mountain biking, and I've always had a mountain bike and always kind of done it or whatever. But one of the things I love about living in Utah is the mountains. So I really, I was in Texas for 13 years. I really missed the mountains. So when I came back, I got a bike, and there's a trail like 10 minutes from my house. It's awesome. You can just go for 30 minutes. You can go for an hour. I mean, however long you want, right? And it's a great thing to do. It gets me my exercise. I don't really like just working out for no reason, but I do like it if you're out and you got good scenery, right? And so I'm learning to become a better mountain biker. And one of the things that I'm learning is this concept of speed and momentum in mountain biking. And I'm not talking about the downhill momentum. Obviously, if you're, at the top of a hill and you go down or whatever, that's one thing. But I'm learning about uphill momentum. And honestly, I never really thought about it like this. I never even thought about it in business until I was on the trailhead here, and I'm riding my bike, and when it's kind of flat, maybe uphill a little bit, I feel like I got pretty good speed. I'm in kind of that harder gear, and I'm able to just kind of keep going, right? And if I hit a little rock or a little stump or something like that, I've got the big tires on. It doesn't matter. I just kind of roll right over that stuff. But then I'm not in very good shape. And so I'm not in very good shape when I hit that climb. Like, I'm just like, okay, here we go. Here's a climb. I naturally, I go down one gear until I'm almost at like the easiest gear going up this really steep incline. And what's interesting is this is where I discovered uphill momentum. When I'm going really, really slow, one, I lose my balance and it's harder to go up. And I'm cranking. And when I hit something, even just the smallest little rock or small little stick sticking up or stump, right? It really takes a lot of effort to get over that. And a lot of times it'll stop me and I'll have to like jump off my bike because I lose all my momentum. I lose all my speed, right? I can't get over it. But when I'm stronger and when I have it in just one or maybe even two harder gears, not that easiest gear, I just power over those things, and I experience this uphill momentum that I'm talking about. And it's really quite fascinating because honestly, this is what happens in business. This is the reason that the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Okay. It's the reason why you see these successful businesses out there, seemingly unaffected by what's going on in the world. There's a lot of different things that can come into play. But this is why you'll see some businesses go out of business in the same industry where others are thriving, right? Is because they figured out speed and momentum. And they figured out these big businesses, even the small businesses that are growing and thriving, they figured out that if they have speed and momentum, that when they hit an obstacle, they hit a challenge, they hit something that's just like, man, this is tough, they can just power right through it. And it's not as hard for them. They also realize that if you're going downhill, that's not coasting time. That's actually the time to put the juice on. That's the time to really focus your efforts and really keep on your advertising. Okay. A lot of businesses, the small businesses, they're like, oh, I'm too busy, I'm not going to advertise right now. Or I've got my full crews, I'm not going to hire right now. Right. And those are the mistakes. These small mistakes add up over time. So when the market turns and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, I need jobs, it's too late. Right. And your advertising doesn't work instantly like that. It's a momentum thing. You have to keep doing it and doing it all the time, even if you already have work coming in. And so when you have that momentum going down a hill, what the 7-figure companies and even the 8-figure companies figured out is they don't just coast downhill. They start pedaling so that when they hit that uphill incline, they get so much further up the hill than the majority of the other businesses that it doesn't take that much more effort to get to the top. Whereas the smaller businesses are just cranking away at the easy gear, and every little thing is a big ordeal. Every little obstacle stops them in their tracks. They have to get off their bike. They have to hike. It just takes so much more effort, right? So I want to encourage you guys to figure out what things you guys can do to speed up your business, what things you guys can do to work on your momentum. It usually has to do with working on your business, reinvesting those profits into advertising, reinvesting into key employees, hiring your replacement one at a time. But I want you to think internally and think about your business specifically. What are the holes? What things are you guys struggling with? And I promise you, if you do that, you're going to come up with 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever. You might have a list of 10. You're going to come up with some things that you're like, okay, this is what he's talking about. This speaks to me, right? And again, just think of those analogies. Think of the roller coaster and also the uphill momentum that you experience when you're out in the backcountry mountain biking. And it was pretty cool. It's a cool experience to, I'm not the best mountain biker by any means. I'm telling you, I'm the weak guy when I'm mountain biking. I'm going up this hill, just struggling. And then here comes these dudes. They just pass by me like I'm stopped. And those are the guys who have speed and momentum. And it's way easier for them. They've put in the work. Okay. They're not going on vacation all the time when business is thriving. They're still working on their business. They're at the gym. They're putting in the time. They're out on the trailhead again. They're working, right? And I'm a great example in this of how to be weak on the trail, right? Because I haven't put in the time, so I can't expect the same results that these other guys have, And so, and by the way, they are not just younger. Okay. They're not just younger. These guys, like, I'm not even joking. I've seen some guys where like I start the trailhead and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to be passing. This guy's not passing me. This guy's got like 20 years on me. Those are the dudes that are passing me. They're older and they're wiser and they know better. And so, yeah, don't judge by age because it's actually the opposite. It's usually these old dudes that are passing you up because they know the secret to success is to gain strength so that you can have speed and momentum. And then it's way easier all around. So a lot of fun, guys. I hope you guys will learn something from that. Apply that to your business. And we are going to take just a really quick break, guys. And it's already time. I hope Chris is ready because we're going to put him through the ringer. We're going to ask him about his business and everything else. And just stick around because I only got like less than 2 minutes of a quick break. And then we'll be joined by Mr. Chris Apfelstadt with Light Up Columbus. Stick around.
Do you hear that? It's quiet. No sounds of anger, attempts to throw a phone or computer out the window, or annoyance trying to change your business to make it fit into a software program. Crew Control just works. It's easy to do your scheduling. You can be up and running in less than a day. It's got everything you need and nothing you don't. Give it a try for yourself with our 2-week free trial. crewcontrol.com. That's crewcontrol.com.
Hey, landscape pros, are you tired of digging through rocks and roots and breaking shovels in the process? Then it's time you checked out the Geo Ripper 616. It's a landscaper's dream with the Makita 6 Series 2-cycle engine producing over 4 horsepower of raw performance. The 616 digs deep in up to 16 inches of the toughest soils. Lighting, landscape, and irrigation contractors already love this improved lightweight trencher with its ability to get in and get out faster, easier, and with less ground disturbance. And you will too. This redesigned Geo Ripper 616 comes with 2 heavy-duty digging chains and a whole mess of helpful extras. To learn more about the Geo Ripper and how it can help you out in the field, visit georipper.com today.
Hey everybody, this is Hecubits from the Nightcap. I'm just sitting here relaxing in the vault with my friends and a tasty, tasty pint.
Hey, lawn and landscape pros, don't turn your lights off after fall. Turn on the lights and start making money during the holidays this winter. Twist on a money-making bulb and join Turf's Up Radio at the Holiday Bright Lights Christmas Kickoff 2021, July 29th through the 31st in Tampa, Florida. Increase your experience through networking. Learn on-site about RGB and Twinkly Pro technology. Meet decorators and leaders in the holiday light industry and much more. Don't be left in the dark. Learn how pros all across the country have already started making more money after fall with Holiday Bright Lights. To register, visit holidaybrightlights.com/Christmas-kickoff. That's holidaybrightlights.com/Christmas-kickoff.
Welcome back to Lighting for Profits here on Trips Up Radio. I'm Ryan Lee, your host. We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. And now we get to welcome our special guest. Welcome, Mr. Chris Apfelstadt. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, Ryan?
I was expecting you maybe to have your electric guitar out.
Time to jam.
Oh, man. Thanks so much for being here. I'm really excited to have you on.
Ryan, you're the Vince Lombardi of landscape lighting, so it's an honor to be here, man. I've listened to every one of these podcasts, and you've got the heavy hitters, the big dogs in the industry, first name recognition, Paul, Jaso, Rado, and you sent me a text and asked me if I would come on, and I wrote back and said, I mean, I don't know if I could add anything for your audience. And a day went by, and then it pissed me off because I was like, wait a second, that's not how I built my businesses. Like, I had confidence, and I figured out a way to do it. So I wrote you back, said, ask me again. I was like, absolutely, I'd love to be on. So here I am. I'm super stoked to be here, man.
Dude, thank you so much for sharing that, because that was a true story. That's exactly how this went down. I was excited to have you on, and I reached out to Chris, and he's like, oh, no. And then you did that, and I'm proud of you for doing that, because that's how you have grown your business. And yeah, I mean, you know, people might be like, Chris, you don't have the one name like some of these other guys. Chris who? But dude, you're a baller, man. You've got so many cool stories, so many really cool experiences. And that's why I wanted to have you on here. I think a lot of people are going to relate to you. And I mean, your name's Chris, so a lot of people can relate to Chris.
No one calls me Brian ever.
Yeah. Oh man. So let's talk about your start. How did you, I guess let's go back to, like kind of your start into Christmas lights and landscape lights and all that stuff.
So I went to school at a little school called The Ohio State University. I don't know if you've heard of it before. Yeah, I had 7 majors all over the board, what I wanted to do. But in college, I started my first business. It was a house painting company. And it was a lot of fun. I hired wrestlers. I'm a wrestling coach. I've heard people talk about wrestling that happens at the AOLP. So I'm excited to see how that goes, see that in person. But I always hire wrestlers to paint homes. I met some guys in Florida that were crushing it with Christmas lights. I was like, guys, tell me about that. I've got ladders, I've got employees, I've got homeowners. I'm going to start trying this Christmas light thing. And the first year I did an awful job, but I learned a lot, and then came back the next year and got better and started to grow that business. And I got to the point where I was doing more revenue in those 2 months of the year than I was the entire rest of the year painting. And the guys in Florida didn't mention icy roofs and snow for some reason. I'm not sure why. It was a different challenge up here. But I realized, man, lighting's where it's at. I sold my painting company to a former employee and said, I want to be year-round lighting. So we started doing event lighting, mostly weddings, architectural lighting, so bridges and towers and structures, and had a mentor that said, try landscape lighting. And so it's only been a couple of years really where I jumped in and said, all right, I'm going to go landscape lighting year round. I want to be able to hire these guys that I have for the holiday and keep them busy the rest of the year. So I don't have that challenge of hiring new guys every single season, which, I know a lot of Christmas guys can relate to.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's your plan right now, is to build it out so you have landscape lighting, and then you'll stop landscape lighting to keep those guys busy and then go straight into Christmas lights, right?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see where we're at there. So, our schedule's building out and continues to grow as I sell more work. And if we still have landscape light work to do during the holiday season, maybe I'll have a couple of guys still focusing on that. But right now, I'm not at a point in my landscape lighting business, where it makes sense to pull guys away from holiday just because that's so profitable. And we've been doing that for 15 years now. So we're pretty established, at least in our area. And it doesn't make sense yet to pull away from that and go to landscape lighting. Yeah.
So right now, that was kind of your main purpose. Like, hey, I'm going to do a landscape lighting because it complements the lighting, my Christmas lights, and it keeps my guys busy. Is that safe to say?
I would say that was how I started. That's why I started doing landscape lighting. But I've kind of fallen in love with it. I really, really enjoy it. And it's probably, of my 4 pillars of lighting that we talk about, that's probably my favorite right now. I'm really enjoying the design side and spending more time working with homeowners again. My holiday business has gone more and more commercial, municipalities, larger businesses and parks and things like that. And so it's fun to work with homeowners again, but sell a bigger ticket item. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And it seems like you're doing really, really well. So I guess what has it been harder than you thought to start up a landscape lighting division? Has it been easier? Like, what's your thoughts on it?
Well, I've had a lot of help, and I don't know if I'd say it's harder than I thought. There's certainly been challenges along the way, but it's been a lot of fun. And I think one of the biggest reasons for where we've gotten so far has been all the help and learning. I'm in the Landscape Lighting Secrets program with you and Facebook groups. It's just crazy how much knowledge there is out there, and guys who have already, gone through the challenges and the problems, and then have the answers, and they're so open and free to help you learn. So I think I've made a lot of shortcuts. I remember one of the first times that we spoke, I did some research, called a couple guys in your program, and one of them told a story about, his brother had competed against you in Texas, and said, man, every single time I went up against Ryan Lee, I never won the job, like not one time. And I was like, all right, well, that's where I want to be. I feel really confident in the holiday side, but a year and a half ago, I kind of didn't know what I was doing. I still had a lot to learn on the landscape side, and I wanted to be at a place where, I walk in the door and they don't have any choice but to choose Light Up Columbus to do the work.
Yeah, no, I love that, man. And I that's such a cool story. I think that's awesome why you decided to join. And what's cool is share this story. You and I spoke, and I think, you were like, I'm not sure. We didn't know each other. I to be honest, I didn't do a good job networking. Most people in the landscape lighting community did not know about me. A lot of people still don't. I'm still getting my name out there. So there really wasn't a relationship there. And if there is a relationship where like and trust someone, it's like, yeah, I'll do whatever they say. But that wasn't there. So you called around and stuff. But then once you decided to join, you hadn't even really gone through any of the program yet. You went back and you were meeting with someone, and I think they were gonna, again, I don't want to take credit for this because it was only after a conversation we had. You hadn't even gone through the program yet, but I swear they were like on the fence or something like that, or they decided to move forward with you, and then they were not.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I did a quote, and it was my first time meeting the customer, and I was just joined the program weeks before. It was right before our first call. We have a weekly call where we all get together and talk about successes and challenges. And I was with the homeowner in the backyard, went through the whole process, and I'd been developing my sales presentation, fine tuning it and making it better. And, a big thing that Ryan always preaches is closing on the spot. And I've always been pretty easygoing, never very high pressure. If I see an opening, I try to close the deal, but I'm not trying too hard. And I also had a two-step process because I didn't know much about design. And so I take pictures, I tell them it's going to be beautiful, and then I get someone to help me. My distributor is helping me with the design to make sure I do make it look good, and then come back and try to sell it. So this was my first time not doing that. I put it all together on the spot. I'm sitting with a woman and her husband, and we go through the whole thing. And she's like, "All right, well, she looks at her husband and said, I'm feeling pretty good about Chris. Like, I think we should sign up." And he said, "Nah, well, it seems great, but we've got 2 other quotes already scheduled this weekend." And I said, "Well, you're probably not doing a very nice thing in these other companies because you already know you're going to go with me. Like, don't even waste their time. Like, just call them and cancel." And they look at each other and they nod and they go, "All right, let's go." And, got my check right there on the spot. And so I was excited about being in the program and so excited about closing my first deal on the spot. And so I was super stoked to talk about it that day.
That's so awesome. And like I said, I didn't teach like, hey, if they say that, like you just came up with that on your own. So that was awesome. Obviously you had that mindset of like, okay, I'm going to try it, but you could have easily still walked away and be like, okay, whatever. Like, and another thing I'm big on preaching is you're doing a disservice to your client to let them think about it and waste time, because maybe that guy would have come in and really wowed them or something, or maybe half your price, maybe that's more attractive, whatever it is. Right. And so you really did them justice by fighting for them, by fighting for them. So that was such a cool story. I'm always going to have you share that one.
Well, I appreciate it. The sales piece of any business is driven by sales. And you always ask, I listen to every one of your podcasts. You always ask your guys, is design more important or sales more important? And like, I always yell at my phone because sales is number one. Without sales, nothing else exists. You can be the best in the world at anything, but if you can't communicate that to whoever your customer is, they don't care. And so sales leads everything. It makes the whole world go around. And it's also the most fun part. Like, I love a beautifully designed project. I love making it look nice and seeing the homeowner and their kids get all excited the first time they light it up. Same thing at holiday. But to me, where I really get jacked up and excited is when I close a big deal. I'm working on something for a long time and I get a yes, I get that phone call. I'm ready to run through a wall and do anything. I'm just so excited. It's the best feeling in the business world. And if you don't get excited by that, then you're not an entrepreneur. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there, my friend. You're welcome to come back anytime. So now everyone knows the right answer is sales.
That's my right answer.
No, I mean, design is fun. It's so important. It's not that it's not important or anything like that, but I'm the same as you. That's why I think we get along so well. We get that rush. You get that hit of adrenaline just knowing that you just help someone, sign up with your company. So it's a lot of fun.
The same thing with you get a lot of athletes who do well in business, especially wrestlers. I come from a wrestling background. I coach wrestling. I love the sport. And it's that one-on-one combat where there's, you have no one to point to, no one to help you or to blame if things go wrong. I either beat that guy and dominate him or I lost. And it's that same kind of mentality and attitude when I know who my competition is in town. We're selling against each other all the time. And when they tell me who the other guy is, and I say, oh, no one ever chooses them over me. Like, that would be a big mistake. And I win that one-on-one battle. Like, it's just an exciting feeling because I won that, and and they made the right decision. We're going to help make their house look awesome. So,
such a good line. No one ever say that again. No one ever chooses them over me. That'd be a mistake.
You'd be the first client I've ever lost to that guy. No one ever chooses them over me.
Love that.
Yeah. So what are we going to do to make it happen? It's fun stuff.
I hope you guys are taking notes. He's dropping it. He's dropping all the gold right now. That's awesome. So what are some changes that you did? I mean, obviously closing on the spot. Is there any other changes that you've done differently that you didn't anticipate? Like after, and it doesn't have to come from Landscape Lighting Secrets, but just after running your business now for a year and a half, 2 years?
So I think one of the biggest things has been, I don't know if it's necessarily different, but I've had the motivation to really speed up the process. And with my painting company, I did well. I made a living for myself and my family for a long time, but it was always a lifestyle business, and I wasn't really trying to grow. And I did an awful job at replacing myself. I still haven't owned the business for 14 years and put on my painting pants and went out and painted stuff because I could never have anyone else that was as good as I was at doing that work. And so I know that's not the right way to grow. And I didn't want to be the one-man show the rest of my life. And so in the last year, I went from no full-time guys to having 3 full-time guys on staff. I went from having 4 different storage units full of bows and wreaths and Christmas lights around town to having a 4,000 square foot warehouse and office space. And all these things cost money, and my operating expenses have gone up. But I also have the confidence that I'm going to sell it, and it's been a lot of fun. So being able to replace myself and trust in other people, and I've been able to do that a lot sooner than I did in the past.
Man, I thank you for sharing that. I love that you're taking action, because honestly, one of my biggest fears that held me back from starting a coaching business was, what if I get someone to agree, because I feel confident in my sales abilities, and then they join, but then they don't take action. Like, I can tell you all the good stuff and everything else, but if you don't, then it's like, that program's lame, right? That would be your reaction. But like, you've hired 3 people. Like, when you're sending me pictures of your shop and stuff like that, I'm like, dude, that gets me fired up. I'm like, yes, dude, that is freaking awesome, And it's not easy to do, because that, like you said, that costs money. Your overhead's up now. Now you got to figure out what the next step is. How am I going to overcome? How am I going to replace, or how am I going to pay for that? But that's exactly what you need to do, because that's how you grow a business. Because now you're figuring out ways to grow, to sell more, to cover those expenses. And one thing I usually say is, your future self will thank you. So this is me thanking you for your future self.
It's kind of weird, but I'm down with it.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. All right, so we got to take a quick break, but stick around, because I got a ton more questions for you. Thanks for sharing all your lovely wisdom and stuff. All right, man.
Thanks, Ron.
Okay, guys, stick around. I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. If you guys do have any questions and you're on Facebook or YouTube, just post them in the comments, and we'll be sure to ask Chris before we let him go. All right, we'll be right back.
Are you a military family with a spouse on deployment away from home? Did you know that nonprofit Project Evergreen has thousands of volunteers across the country ready to help military families with lawn, landscape, and snow removal services? We call it Green Care and Snow Care for troops. If you are a military family and would like to receive this free service, or if you'd like to volunteer to help, visit projectevergreen.org. Project Evergreen, creating a greener, healthier, cooler Earth, 1 yard at a time.
Attention all pros. When you leave a deal with your clients, don't leave money on the table. Join Turfs Up Nation today and partner with pros all across the country who can help you make more money for services that are related to your project. Landscapers need plumbers, and pool installers need hardscapers, and every combination in between. Turfs Up Nation is free. Your information is secure, and you will be connected with other pros in the industry that want to do business with you. Not to mention property owners who need help with just about everything. If you think your clients don't need you and the connections you have, think again. Join turfsupnation.com today and start putting more money in your pocket for services you never knew you could. To sign up for this free service, go to turfsupnation.com.
Yeah! Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. The Weekend Review.
The Weekend Review. The Weekend Review.
Join King Darren and all of your favorite Turfs Up radio hosts, including Hecubus, Eric, the Turf Teacher Jones, Brian.
My name is not Brian.
Ryan Lee, Wayne the Prophet Bowles,
One opportunity.
his son Daniel, Brooke Ford, the Green Veteran, Giddy Up, and many more. Join us live as we unpack the week and share what you may have missed live on Turfs Up Radio. That's the Weekend Review, Saturdays, 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Yeah! Oh, yeah. Hey, everybody, it's Brooke Ford, host of the Green Veteran here on Turfs Up Radio. Be sure to check me out every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. You're going to hear some great one-on-one interviews with green industry professionals. We're going to talk about best business practices, highlight innovative products, and also provide some insight into some new emerging technologies in the field. That's the Green Veteran, airing each Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And remember, Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Did it again. Welcome back to Lighting for Profits. Let me make sure Chris is ready to go. All right. So, Chris, I want you to give us your best radio voice and say something like Lighting for Profit
Radio.
Wait. I was talking. Let's hear it.
Turfs Up Radio, your station, your industry. I don't have the gravel part.
Your industry, your station.
I just don't have that smooth, buttery delivery, man. It's just not who I am.
I've heard you do some pretty good stuff. I think it's just the mic. If you had this mic, you could be killing it.
Blame the technology.
Yeah, I think it's all in the mic these days. All right, man. Well, I'm having a blast with you. I want to see if I could ask you something. There's guys that are brand new to the industry. There's guys that are thinking about getting into landscape lighting. There's guys that have been around a long time. Is there any advice you could give to someone who's maybe just on the fence of, should I either get into it or should I scale it? There's some people that are dabbling, and I'm speaking to someone who's not in Columbus.
Well, I always believe in the philosophy of abundance. So even if you're in Columbus, come on in. The water's nice here. I think competition's awesome. It makes us better. And I'm never afraid for more people to come in and join. Try to do better than I can. And if you figure it out, then I'll steal from you your techniques and make myself better too. I think the biggest advice, the one thing that I feel confident about talking about is to not be afraid of a big project. And to if you see something that you want as a goal, set it. 4 years ago, I set a goal that there's some iconic arches in the city, and the city of Columbus, Ohio is called Arch City. These things have been there since the 1800s and really, really cool. And they have a lighting system. It's been a mess for a long time. Half the lights don't work. One's a different color. Like, it was really cool when they first put it up, but it's a mess. And I said, I'm going to be the one that's going to replace that system, knowing nothing about it. And so I started this 3.5 year long process with the city, found the right person to talk to, put in a bid, and then city politics and government. But the short version is that, right when the pandemic hit last year, I got a call and said, hey, we're finally moving forward with this. And so, this is 10 times larger than my biggest project I've ever done. I don't have a full-time person on staff. And I got awarded the city contract to do something that, I've never done before. Only one person's ever done before. But I knew that, hey, someone could do it. It's possible. Like, I can figure it out. And so I'm going to go do it. And I wrote down my goal. I put it on my desk, said, I'm going to light these arches. And then bam, we did it. And it was a successful project. And, it helped us grow when a lot of companies were shrinking. And so if you see a house or you see a project or something is different and exciting, get an opportunity, and that's your goal, like, let's go do it. Like, go sell it. And you can figure out how to do it. Someone can do it. Why wouldn't it be you who could be the person that gets it done? And so that's my one golden nugget that, like, my whole career has been grown off of saying, yes, we can do that. And not knowing yet how to, but just knowing that it is possible. And, like, knowing if someone can do it, let it be me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I love that, man. I mean, I used to think like that. I used to think like, man, I don't know, like, am I capable of this or anything like that? But, I'm glad you shared that, because honestly, how many projects have you guys seen when you're out with your family, at restaurants, at commercial spaces, at whatever? And how often do they even really look good? Like, how often are you like, man, they did it right? Like, there's not, maybe 1% of the time are you really impressed. And other times you're like, who installed this? Like, who even came up with this design, And so I love that message, because why would you be intimidated of something that someone else is going to do at way less, I guess, I don't know, less quality. I don't even know how to word that, but they're not going to do as good of a job as you. So why are you afraid to even go after it?
Yep. And I'll stay right here just so you know my next goal. There's 2 large towers at Ohio State that the Goodyear blimp flies by during every night game when there's a game at the Horseshoe football game. And right now they're lit and they're white and they're nice. But it's like, man, they need to be RGB. Like I already know what fixtures I'm going to use. I'm going to light up these 2 towers and you're going to see my stuff on ESPN. So I'm marking it down right now that's my next big goal. So.
Okay. It's out there now it's actually going to happen because you've put it out there, Yep. And so this is good. If you guys aren't writing your goals down and sharing them with others, then I'm not going to say it's not going to happen, but it's not as likely.
Those are
cool.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's just a dream. If you think about it, it's just a dream. If you write it down and you have a deadline and you share it, now that's a goal. And that's I'll tell my kids that, my wrestlers that all the time, and same thing in business. And yeah, it's huge. And I've got a home that I watched being built, a mansion, and I've knocked on the door twice. I haven't found anyone, but I don't know if they already have a landscape light designer. But if they don't, they're going to, because this house is sweet and it's just down the street from my house. It's like, let's go, let's do this.
I love it, man. If you don't share your goals, even if you write them down, a lot of people will get to that stage. They'll come up with it and they'll write it down, but then they don't share it. And what's the reason people don't share it? Is because you don't want to fail. You don't want to be held accountable. You don't want someone to know, hey, that was my goal to light those things. So then if you never do, it's like you didn't fail because you never really told someone and no one ever knew. But now that we all know, Chris, we're going to follow back up and be like, hey, when are you lighting those? Why haven't you done it yet? Everybody, okay. Yep. And now we're going to do that. So we don't even have to hold you accountable because you're going to hold yourself accountable because you put it out there. So
I just need to find some rich, like Archie Griffin or someone to pay for the project. That's
well, if you're listening, send me an email, support@ryanleecoaching.com, or Chris, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah. Chris at lightupcolumbus.com.
Perfect. You never know, right? That's why we're putting it out there. All right. So let's talk about, I don't know, what do you like most about being a business owner? What do you like most about owning your own lighting business?
So a lot of people talk about, entrepreneurs talk about having, I was a kid, I did a paper route, I had a lemonade stand. I always cared about, making money and building a business. And I knew I was going to be an entrepreneur my whole life. And that wasn't the case for me at all. Like I actually never thought about it until I was in college. I worked for another company. I was like, man, I'm making these guys a ton of money and they're paying me okay. But my boss wasn't even in town. So I'm going to start my own business, And it got to the point where, man, I never want to have a boss again. My last boss was, basically at like Outback Steakhouse when I was a kid. And for me, it's about the freedom and the ability to succeed or fail on your own. And I know that if things aren't going well in my business, it's my fault, and I get pissed at me, but there's no one else to blame. Like I didn't do enough. I didn't work hard enough. I didn't close deals. Whatever was happening wasn't enough, And then at the same time, when I'm crushing it and things are going great and I'm bringing in a lot of business and hiring new people, man, I know that I was able to build that, with sheer will and determination. And so that's what's so fun about being an entrepreneur. And I love that, there were some years I mostly worked in the winter, and we did some work on building the holiday projects and selling stuff out. And, it's kind of a year-round business on the holiday side, but I wasn't very busy, and now I just love having landscape. I know there's always something I can do to try to get better and try to grow. And a lot of these guys you've had on your show, man, I want to be like them. When I see, Darren talk about his monthly revenue, I'm like, holy crap, I'll be lucky to do that in like 6 months, and I want to get to that point where these guys just know it all. They know all the answers and they're crushing. They got 20 employees. So I'm just excited to keep growing and learning and, feel as confident about landscape lighting as I am about holiday lighting, and know that, we are absolutely the best in town and no one's going to be able to compete with us.
That's awesome, man. So what are you doing right now for like lead generation for landscape lighting?
So one of our biggest generators has been our home and garden show. And I know it's different in every part of the country. We've got a pretty good one in Central Ohio. And we did it the first year, and I felt really happy with the amount of leads that we had. No one knew us as a landscape lighting company, and we sold a lot of work from it. Came back, and this year, it was post-pandemic, pared down number of people allowed in the building, and we doubled our amount of leads. And I think that you always talk about the marketing mix, how it all ties together, but our other forms of advertising helped people know our name and maybe our placement in our booth and how we approach the situation. But at the home and garden show has been awesome for us. So we got, I think, 75 leads in 6 days this spring, and I don't know off the top of my head the exact numbers of how many of those we've converted into jobs, but the first one was a $12,000 job, which it was $1,500 to be part of the show, and paid a couple guys. Even my mother-in-law likes to go and sit at the booth and talk to people. It's awesome. And then we've had a lot of good success with the Home Mag, a local publication that I know that's all around the country. We got a big half-page ad, did it a little different. I'm really lucky. My bride owns an advertising agency, and so I get some really cool graphic design, high-end stuff that's free. And so, a couple printed publications, SEO, got web guys out there pushing, and then social media. Just kind of that main mixture has been very successful for me this year, keeping the funnel full. And then, right now I'm the only sales guy in the business and just out there trying to close the deals and keep my guys staying busy.
Sweet, man. That's awesome. Yeah. I wanted to ask you about the trade show or the home show, I guess. There must've been something you think it was really just the marketing mix, like some of these other things you were doing that was driving that, or what did you guys do to get 75 leads out of that one show?
I don't know if just part of that, everyone's doing well right now. People are thinking about their homes and they're busy, improving it. And so lighting is part of their on top of mind. One thing is I've got some really cool, powerful RGB fixtures. They're from a company called S4, and they're called the Big Bertha. And I mean, it's thousands of lumen. And we put 3 of them in our booth and shine them up at the ceiling. And so like anywhere in this giant convention center, you look and you see like this purple and red like blob on the ceiling. Like, I wonder what's over there. So at the very least, people walk by our booth, which is good. And we're not out there being pushy and like trying to talk to people that don't want to talk to us. People walk by and they kind of look away, like they don't want to make eye contact because they think you're going to like give them cooties or something if they say hello to you. But if someone comes up, that's when we, that's the opportunity that they're interested, as opposed to trying to attack people. Like I've seen some people, the guy across from me, like I just cracked up watching them, embarrass themselves. They're like, just leave me alone, man. I don't need freaking windows right now.
I was going to say, was he selling windows or what?
You're selling windows. Yeah, absolutely. What a free inspection. Like, let's go. Like you super high energy. I'm sure he's a great guy, but like he annoyed me, like just watching him, and he wasn't even talking to me. Having that mix of, advertising, digital, home show, and just being out there. Like I'm embarrassed. I don't have my van wrapped yet. We got this really cool Ford. I know, Ryan, I'm being open and honest and telling you my successes and my failures. And I've got this plain white van right now, that is in front of people's homes. We've got yard signs and stuff, but I haven't got it wrapped. And I know the design and everything. And just, when am I going to take it out of the field and get it wrapped?
It's a tough decision because you're supposed lost revenue, whatever. But I promise you, that's like one of the easiest no-brainers. Even if it takes a couple of days, whatever, like you're going to make so much money on that thing that make you sick thinking about the times it hasn't been wrapped now.
I'm going to go park it back next to the jobs we did over the last year and just like sit it in front of their house. Like, hey, look, we're the ones that did this, by the way.
And another nice thing about having a wrap you want yard signs too, but there's a lot of neighborhoods that don't allow, like those high-end HOAs that don't allow yard signs. Well, it's nice when your truck or two is just parked there for 3 days doing a giant install. That's better than a yard sign anyway. So definitely make that a priority.
Yeah, I've got a long way to go. I'm really, really glad that I got into landscape lighting, and I'm pissed off at myself for not doing it 10 years ago. I had a conversation and thought about it, and someone kind of discouraged it. That's different from holiday. You wouldn't it's a whole different ball game. It's more challenging, blah, blah, blah. And I kind of let them dissuade me. But man, I wish I had, another 8 or 15 years of doing landscape lighting. I know a lot more about some of the voltage drop issues too, that, the OG guys like know those numbers back and forth super easy.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for you, man. I think it's cool. I hope you get to the point where you have to make that decision in September timeframe of like, okay, should I keep going all in with landscape lighting, or should I pull them off for Christmas? I hope it's so successful for you where you get to that point. Before I let you go, what's going to be your next move? Who's your next hire? Is it someone in the office? Is it a salesperson? Is it another install? What's your next move?
I've got to have someone in the office. And having that phone never go to voicemail is important. And my goal is to have that hire, and trained by the fall to be ready for the holiday rush.
Okay.
We get to a point, and most people in the Christmas industry know that you get to a point where you don't want to answer the phone anymore. You're like, I'm good. I sold as much as I need to sell. We're exhausted. We're working 70 hours a week. And, my guys, I told them this was the last job. Don't call me. Like, I don't want to talk to you. But by having more of a structure in place and guys running crews and not have to be out in the field as much, I'm in a better position to like get that last minute stuff that comes in. Because I know I turn down some really big deals, every year just because we're exhausted. And so having someone in the office to help me with the invoicing, the phone answering, there's a whole list of stuff that, most of the stuff that I do at like 1 o'clock in the morning when my whole family's asleep, and like I should be sleeping too. So that's my next goal. And then I need a salesperson to help me with that, which is hard for me because I love it so much. Like sales is the fun part, so I'm never going to stop selling, but it'd be nice to have someone else, doing it too.
Yeah, no, you'll get there. And you don't have to stop doing sales. I did sales until the day I left. I loved it. But, again, that's when you're to that point where you're going to work because you want to, not because you have to. And it's a great feeling. So, well, awesome, man. I really appreciate you taking time on here. How can people you want to just share your website, your email, whatever it is? How do people find you? Yeah,
I'm on Facebook, Light Up Columbus, lightupcolumbus.com, Chris at lightupcolumbus.com for email. I'm accessible. I love talking to people and love learning from all the awesome pros out there. I've got so much room to go, and I've learned so much from all you guys, and especially you, Ryan. Thank you so much for the opportunities and the programs and all the content that you put out there. Instead of listening to Howard Stern, I throw on a podcast or a weekly call, and like I get better as opposed to just laughing and having fun. So.
Hey man, if I can replace your Howard Stern addiction, I'll be a happy man.
Good luck.
All right, man. Thanks again for coming on. I appreciate you.
Thanks, brother. Talk to you.
You guys stick around. I'm going to end the show in just a few minutes with my lighting tip of the week. So, and Chris, if you're going to be around, I'll talk to you after. But you guys stick around. Be right back.
Hey, lawn and landscape pros. Don't let your edge go dull. Your competitive edge. Sharpen your edge at the GIE Plus Expo this October 20th through the 22nd in Louisville, Kentucky. Innovative products, latest technology. Wall to wall. Talk face-to-face with engineers that design your favorite equipment. Then step outside and dive into the hands-on demo area where you can drive, dig, and compare equipment to your heart's delight. This year, the wow gets even bigger with the new UTV test track, the hands-on drone zone, and free parking. Register now at GIE-expo.com, and we'll see you in Louisville, Kentucky this October.
Attention all veterans. Have you heard about Turf's Up Radio's Jobs for Vets program? If you are looking for a job and you're interested in working in the landscape and snow removal profession, there just might be a company in your local area that is looking to hire. All you have to do is send us your resume at jobsforvets@turfsupradio.com. That's jobsforvets@turfsupradio.com. Turf's Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Hey, this is Jeff Hester, senior contributor and co-host of the Weekend Review here on Turf's Up Radio. Can't make it to major green industry events, but want to stay connected? Don't worry, we have you covered. Be sure to download the Turf's Up Radio app or visit our website. We'll bring you the live coverage you need to keep you up to date with everything that happens in our industry. And to find out where we'll be next, simply visit greenindustryevents.com. That's greenindustryevents.com. And always remember, Turf's Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Hey Turfs Up Radio fans, do you know what time it is? That's right, it's Turfs Up Radio time. Now you can hear the latest updates in green industry news, services and technology. Learn about new products all while enjoying the best music. If you don't believe me, then ask my good friend Alexa. Just say launch Turfs Up Radio.
Welcome back to Lighting for Profits here on Turfs Up Radio. Did I mention I love what I do? Guys, I am so fortunate to be doing what I do. I love hanging out with guys like Chris. I mean, I could do it all day. Appreciate your guys' support. It's seriously amazing. So thank you for making this possible. I want to leave you guys with my lighting tip of the week. I just have a couple minutes, and so it's going to be short and sweet. But you know, you may have heard this or seen an email from me or something before, but I like this phrase, keep moving forward. And honestly, up until the other day, I didn't even know where I got that from. I just have always kind of had that within me. Like that was just one of my goals. Like, keep moving forward. Like, don't be stagnant. You know, I don't like sitting around and stuff like that. And so I started saying that, but I didn't really know where it came from. And the other day I am in the process of hiring some people for my company, and I've got an assistant now. And I was going through this journal that I wanted to show, I'm looking for a journal that I can give to members of my program. And I was looking through one of my journals that I had purchased, and one of the quotes at the top of it said, here's the quote. It said, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Martin Luther King Jr. That's his quote. And it ends with, but whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. I was like, this is I'm getting the goosebumps right now. I'm getting the chills. So cool. I didn't know where I don't know that's where I got it from or whatever, but the stars align, and that's what it is. And so I want you guys to keep moving forward. I know I say it a lot and might get exhausted or whatever, but progression is key to success. I want you to understand that, not just in business, but in life. Okay. So even people who have made it, they are financially free for generations. Okay. They do not stop. They keep progressing. And why is that? Okay. Because it's not about the money. It's about the progression. So even if you are satisfied with your current income, okay, and again, we all have different goals. We have different versions of success. It's not just about the money. It doesn't mean you can coast, okay, because you can't stop. Like if you stop, I feel like you're dying, okay. It's either you're living or dying. And so what do you guys want to do? There was a guy, he passed away several years ago, but his name was Jim Rohn. Really cool entrepreneur guy. He said a lot of cool quotes that you may not even know came from him. But one of the things that he said was, a formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. Okay. And I am telling you, I heard that and I was like, holy cow. That is one of the reasons why I'm so grateful to do what I'm doing now, is because I'm helping people with their self-education. Okay. I did the formal education route. It's not, I don't want to talk trash on it because I learned a ton. There's so many things I learned from it, and I'm grateful for my education. But I'm telling you this, I know why Jim Rohn said that. I know why he said a formal education will make you a living and self-education will make you a fortune, because self-education is really about finding your passion and whatever you like to learn about. And mine was landscape lighting, and I hope yours is too. And I hope that's why you're here, is because you're working on self-education and you're trying to be a better person, trying to be a better person, right? You know, better father, husband, wife, mother, son, daughter, whatever it is, right? And that's what it's all about, is bettering yourself, being a better business owner so that you can impact more people around you, your employees, your suppliers, your manufacturers, everybody else. So guys, I hope you guys will take that advice and keep moving forward in what you're doing, and take Chris's advice. Write your goals down, share them with others. That's one huge step to keeping moving forward. That will put pressure on yourself to make sure that you do not stop. So that's all I got for you guys today. I want you guys to keep moving forward this week and really every week. So guys, I'll be back next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Thanks so much for your support. You guys have a great week.